Likutei Halachos, Nefilas Apaim, Halacha Vav. So we said that in the video, the first thing that we sang is Rebbeinu Shalom, let our davening come to you, because don't overlook our prayers and tachnunim, because we're not fakers who claim to be tzaddikim. We know that we sins are fathered sins, and this is the reason why this is a schus. It's a schus because at least we admit who we really are and what we're all about. We're not changing the rule of the game to fit our game, what we're able to do. In other words, we're not shooting an arrow and then drawing the bullseye around it. You want to be a thief? Well, this is a more just redistribution of wealth. You want to be, you want to let your tavis niyuf, free reign. So you say it's called free love. It's whatever it is. I mean, in other words, you're just shooting the arrow where you want it to be, and you're saying that is the tachlis. That is what it's all about. It says at least we're saying, something. Yes, we have done wrong. That is, it says that because of even those that are moided that Kodesh Baruch Hu exists, what they negate, what they deny, is that sins exist. There are no sins. Or the Mefash the Torah, not moi? Are you kidding me? I'm like,
perfect.
Clean as a wood. Everybody should look at me and see how they should behave. And he explains, כי עיקר לא מחמס שעל ידי העוון נעשה מסך המבדיל ויכול להחליט בדעתו זה כפיר חס ושלום. The principle that people fail to understand, and there's no end to it, is the fact that people do not sin because they don't believe. People don't believe because they sin. As the Rabbeinu says in Sefer Amidos, "Hapesha machnis kfira la'adam." The sinning, the avera, is the thing that puts kfira to a person. Because when a person does something wrong, okay, there is what they call in psychology and in music a dissonance. On one hand, I behave like a dog. On the other hand, I know in my principles that that's not the way you should behave. I get some kind of a chayas out of behaving like an animal. On the other hand, the musar, the conscience, the way it has been given generation to generation, is that it's not good to do these things. So that creates a conflict, between the way that I want to behave and the way that my social conscience tells me that I ought to behave. So there are either one or two things. Either one or three things. Either I change my behavior to fit my conscience. Because, this kind of dissonance, it creates a lack of peace in a person. A person can't exist like that. He needs to get, because otherwise he just goes crazy. So one possibility is for that person to force himself to change his behavior and come to serenity. The second way is just to commit suicide. He cannot change his behavior. He cannot change the fact that the sin and his consciousness is chasing him and what they call a cat o' nine tails, the whip of fire, of guilt, and he can't, and he kills himself. The third possibility, you change the conscience. Who says it's wrong? You start a whole campaign to change the conscience. It's okay to do it. Okay, problem solved. Up to a certain point, obviously. The sin is already bribing the mind to say, it's okay. Because you can't live with this kind of conflict, inner conflict.
Guilt.
Yeah, if you don't do something about it, it'll just and people do it all the time, mind you. People do it all the time. The fact that people smoke, the fact that people, are workaholics. I'm not talking about people on drugs and stuff like this. I mean, quote unquote normal people, they kill themselves. Why? Because they're punishing themselves, because they know they cheat, they lie, they this, they that. So they're paying penance. So when a person does a pshit, it automatically creates a need for compensation. So what's the compensation? The easiest compensation, especially when you're doing, when a person does a variance between Odom Lamakom, between a person and Hashem, is it puts kfir in, an opening for kfir to come in. I'm willing to hear suggestions. The main thing is I feel the pressure, and I want to hear suggestions. כמו שכוסו בספר המידס על פי א' ב' הפשע מכניס כפירה באודם. The crime puts heresy into a person because the main root of the evil inclination is El Achel, is a foreign god, is idolatry, is kfiris. And it says in a different place that the root of El Achel, kfiris, is the halama, is the concealment of our opponent, the concealment of the mitzvahs of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is how the Averas have chiyas. So once there's an Avera there, something has to give. Avera cannot exist if there's light. The monsters, the coat that is hanging on the thing, it's only a monster when it's dark. When you turn on the light, the monsters are gone. I mean, the Avera can, and if there's light on, the Avera cannot exist. In order for the Avera to exist, Avera, het, sin, a crime, not beseder, something, not what they say they should not to do, never, ever to do. The only way it can exist is this darkness. There's a story. You don't see HaKadosh Baruch Hu, let's go play poker, no problem. So the kfiras is makom chadish, the churches from Aloma. Aval koch nishmos Yisrael godol ma'od. The power of nishmos Yisrael is immense. Ubifrat godol koch tzadikim oiskim betikuram, especially the koch of the tzadikim who are working on fixing the Jews. This is why I feel after real chatoim, real averis, chas v'sholem, still the neshama reminds himself the truth and feels the unbelievable pain of its sins until a person is looking for tshuva and mechila. And as long he's looking for it, he has hope. No matter what he did, as long as you're looking, there's hope. And this is what we're saying, since we're not so brazen, we're not chutzpahdik, to deny, says I didn't sin, but I'm still looking for a tikkun, that immediately erases the alama. I admit, I turn on the light. There's Hashem, I did wrong. Things as clear as a bell. Okay? So immediately the alama is canceled, and mimela, the heresies, the kfiris, the thing that enables people to get into a shvung of averas, into a rut of averas, also disappears because they suck. They live off the darkness. There it is said in the end of the Torah. The main feeding is off the aloma. Okay, this is why bevad ribono shel olam, it is befitting that you should not ignore our plea, because what really needs to be done is for the concealment to get erased by the fact that we're still looking for a tikkun, we're still screaming, we're still shouting, we're still admitting everything, we're confessing all our chatoim, we admit the chatoim, we're not so brazen to fall into total alama, total astora, to say we are tzaddikim, we don't sin, That's why, since we don't deny, which means that we keep the light on, it may be just a tiny bit of light, because that's all we're capable of. We're just capable of admitting. We're not yet capable of stopping, let alone that there's not enough light for us not to do anything at all, b'chlal. It's like a person really, really, really has to be, out there in order to rob banks or not to sell crack in the street. Okay? I mean, you really have to be like so miyush, so totally not seeing any way out that you will go and rob people in the street. Right? There's between this and doing a little bit of cheating on the side, a little bit this, a little that, there's a lot of, shades, between this and that. All we can do is we can admit that we did wrong. That's the beginning of light. So asking, since we are willing to admit this is all we can do, please, you just, don't overlook, don't ignore our beseeching. Because we're saying about in the video, what are we going to say? What shall we tell before you? What are we going to tell you? You know everything. Everything which is hidden is open to you. You know everything. You know the secrets of the world. You know what every single living creature hides in his little lair, in the ground, from the squirrels hiding the acorns, to human beings hiding whatever it is, the little, some kind of private vices they don't want anybody to know about. Nothing is hidden from you. Nothing is hidden from your eyes. This is the ikir video, this is the ikir tshuva, that we admit and we confess that we don't know where on earth we are altogether. Because we have sinned so much. We have gone after our heart's desire so much, as we're saying after the Aleph base, Hashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu, like every single ois of the Aleph base, I have a shenanigan, a special shenanigan that I have done that fits with it. I mean, which letter do you want? I did it. Whatever it is that you want, I was there. And it says we finish all the 22 oases of the Torah until we finish this ti'avnu, ta'inu, titanu. It says we have made, we were disgusted by things that are holy. We have lost our way, and we made others lose their way.
Titanu is make others.
Yeah, titanu is we make others also be tired. In other words, we are walking like somebody who he is both mistaken and he's causing other people to make mistakes. But we don't know what to tell before you. What shall I tell? What shall we tell you? Only what we believe that you know everything. You know everything that is hidden. You know all the secrets of the world. You know all the secrets of all the living beings. You know that all the secrets and all the hidings are all coming from Mama, Sasan, and Nista. All the Sitra Acha is actually feeding off from there, from all the Averas. And you know them all. Really, within their story, inside that darkness, there is hidden das omoik nisto v'nelo me'oid. There's unbelievable Torah mysteries. The Rebbe says it in Torah Vav, the great arichos, that is dafka in these mekoymes where the biggest Torah mysteries and secrets are buried. But because it's so concealed, it is impossible to fathom it. And this is where the Sitra gets it, gets its chayas. But we believe that you know all the secrets, you know all the hiding places, and this is our hope. That's our only hope. Since we know that you are there as well, and you're completely concealed. He says, this is what the Rebbe says in Torah and Nun Vav, B'vchinas im yomalcha Adam echan elokecha. If a person will come to you and challenge you, oh yeah, where is your God? You know what you answer him? B'krach Gadol Sharoni, in the big town of New York City, in the places where the Avodah Zarah and the filth, whatever it is most evident, he's there as well. Because Baruch Hu is absolutely everywhere. You would think, that in the nightclubs where the biggest perversions take place, because Baruch Hu is not there. Well, I'm telling you, I have news for you. He's there as well. As it says in the end of the Torah. That's why we're still looking, we're still waiting, we still want to come to you. We're still waiting for you to turn our Yerida into Aliyah. And this is the secret of the 13 midas of Rachamim that come from the 13 rectification of the beard that we mentioned right after the vidui. Because these 13 tikkun dikno, these 13 rectifications of the beard, they come from the level of atik. That's the keser, that's the mama sasan, that's the highest of them all, as the Kavanah says. And then, and that's why after the vidui, we mentioned the 13 midas, because the main tikkun of all the averis that we have confessed on is through the bereshis mama sasan. That source of pardon, that the reasons for it are totally concealed. Because when you come to think of it, the Baruch Hu says, "V'chanotzi asher achon," I will pardon that which I will pardon. "V'richamti es asher rachem," I will have rachmanas, I will have pardon. I will pardon whoever it is that I pardon. Which means it seems totally arbitrary. Well, for what reason? Why? I'm the emperor, and I have a right to do whatever it is I want. I don't have to explain myself to anybody, because the reasons in Atik, in the Keser, are totally concealed. That's why it is possible to pardon even the worst of errors, because the minute you start for cheshbonim, okay, let's see, what did this person do? He did this and that. Oh man, there's no way. I mean, why would you pardon him? You make a committee, a parole committee. You'll start thinking about it. What are the reasons? The minute you put reason into it, human reason into it, there's no way that you can pardon such a thing. But in the Keser, in the Das Elyon of Keser, Das Kodesh Baruch Hu, where the reasons are totally concealed, from there it is possible to wipe out even the biggest of errors. Because Ratzon Elyon is totally nistan. From the Astora itself comes the pardon. So this is the Keser, this is Atik, this is the 13 midas of Rachamim. Moshe Rabbeinu is the one who pulled down the 13 midas of Rachamim. After the Chet HaEgel, the sin of the golden calf includes in it all the averes in the world. Until HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, that's it. I'm going to just erase them. And it seemed like, that's it. I mean, we might as well stick a fork in us. We're done. That's it. Chas v'shalom. But Moshe Rabbeinu did not stop, did not leave his place. And he kept on davening, and he kept on screaming to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It says in the Midrash that Moshe Rabbeinu did not leave a corner in the heavens that he didn't lay himself down and beat himself up with it. And all this is this particular Bechin. Moshe Rabbeinu was Zeicher to be Mischazik himself in this knowledge. There is no despair anywhere, and there's no Avera, and there's no multiple of Averas that will totally obliterate, the Mitzvah HaKadosh Baruch Hu and his Rachamim. No way, no way. That's why he kept on looking and asking and baiting and in any way, shape, or form until HaKadosh Baruch Hu relented. And Dafka then, once he achieved that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu led him on the mystery of the 13 Midas of Rachamim, which is the way to achieve pardon beyond reason. Beyond, you don't deserve it 9 ways to Sunday. Forget about it. Forget about it. And still. This is 13 Midas Shel Rachamim. B'fchinas Yerid Tachlis Aliyah. But this is what he said, if not, then erase me. Because the name of Israel, especially the name of the Tzaddik, comes out of the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is intrinsic, is woven into our name. You see, all the family came out of Mitzrayim. Mishpachat Chanoichi, Mishpachat Namueli, Mishpachat, in the beginning there's a Hey, and at the end there's a Yud. So this Yud K is the name of Hashem, because Baruch Hu says, my name testifies on them, is a testimony that they are all the original McCoy, the real brand. This is not a Chinese fake. This is Achanoichi, Hapalui, Akarmi, begins with Hey and ends with Yud. The name of Kodesh Baruch Hu is intrinsic with Am Yisrael. Even the very name, Yisrael, Kel, Kodesh Baruch Hu is there. Aleph Lamed is there. Our very name. It says Yehudi. What's it? In India they have this really deep philosophical, spiritual, whatever it is. They have, the Bhagavad Gita, whatever it is. All these inyanim that they have, and they're very spiritual people. They're very, very spiritual people, and they know.
Israelis go there.
No, Israel goes there to smoke pot. But they realize that Kivyochel, the best thing that there is to reach a point where you don't exist anymore, and they call it nirvana, and that's of eternal bliss, where you don't know nothing, man, everything is cool, everything is fine. No problem. That from all the nations of the world, they're the closest to that particular union. That is the difference. What is the difference between Hodi, which is in Indian, and Yehudi? What is the difference between the two? Is the Hey. The Yud. The Yud is the only difference.
Sure.
There's Hodi and there's Yehudi. Because we have the name of Hashem in us. They have almost the whole thing. They have Hodi. Hodi means, you admit, you thank, you're reaching everything is, you're thankful, you take things the way they are, you're totally come to Ishtavos, and you're stoic, and no problem, and reality is not really real, and the world's not really real. They have all these kind but they're lacking the Yud. They're lacking the name of Hashem. Because our name is combined with the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's the Iker Chayes, Nefesh Chaya U'Shmoy. That's the Koyach V'Dibur which is in the person. V'Yadam Nefesh Chaya Ruach Memalolo. That all the names are only revealed once the Ma'amarais are revealed. But the Ma'amar Sasim, where everything is concealed, this is highest from all the names. Tomorrow, Hashem will explain it a little bit deeper into this particular principle.